Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, so this is that engine that we think has a bent crank. Now, all I'm going to do is just loosen up this rig, and I'm not getting crazy with this rig either. Just going to loosen it up. This helps to put my glasses on. Until it comes in contact, which is, about there. Okay. And you could put it on a plate if you want. So what we're going to do is just to try to tweak it up a little bit so that 0 is a little bit more towards the top. Okay, takes a bit. Now, it'd be easy if I put this on my steel plate, which, that's another thing I can do, is I could put this whole thing on my steel plate. But we'll just do it quickie. If we want to validate. Okay, there we go. Alright, now we'll just 0 it. I might just put this on my steel plate just to make it a little bit more accurate. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. But let's just give it a quick spin and see. Whoa! 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 Yeah, that's bad. Okay. So now we're coming up on the slot. Now, I'm going to go get my steel plate, and you'll see what I mean. Alright, we're going to check it again. Okay, set us back up. Now, I don't know if your angle is good. But I'll run it through twice, I'll zoom you in. But I'll narrate. So, got the steel plate. The Hondas sit nice when you take the plastic tank off. And you need to anyway, and you need to pull the bail back so that you can spin the motor, and I take the plug out. Okay? And that makes everything a lot easier. So we're basically zeroed, right, within a C hair. So we're going to turn it now. Alright, we'll turn it in the normal direction. And you can see, right, it's 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, up. We got about 85, roughly 85 thousandths. And as we come back around, right, now it's going to come towards the keyway, which is TDC. 85, so we'll have to help it over that lip. Okay, so now that was 85. She's coming back towards where we first set it up. Okay, and she's going in the other direction now. Alright, so that was, it's 20 thousandths in that direction. So here we are back to the beginning where we set it up. Okay, so let's see. There's our 0. Alright, so we're swinging 80 thousandths in one direction and 20 in the other. So she's bad. Alright, she's real bad. And if you check my other video, which I'm going to probably link the two together, I should have done them at the same time, these two videos, but this is just, I'll probably do a handful of these videos just to show you, to build a little library of motors that, get wonky. This thing shook real bad, and this thing's a mess. Now, could you fix this? Yes. What I would like to do is, I have a press, a nice pump press, and I think it's like maybe 12, 15 ton, whatever it is. They use a screw jack, okay? It's a screw. They bolt the motor in, and it's got a simple gauge on it with a pointer and a little scale, and they bolt the motor in, and they force the crank in an opposite direction. Now, what a lot of people do is, when you want to fix the crank, is that you put a collar on it, and you hit the collar. You bang it with a sledgehammer, and what you do is you find a high spot. In this case, we find the high spot, and you try to get it up to the top, if you can. Okay, and you do this on the motor. It's not so easy to do. But then you support the crank in one spot, and you drive it down with your hammer, your lump hammer or whatever you got, you know, big sledge, whatever. And you put the collar on so that you don't damage the crank. Alright? What we can do is we could go from the opposite way. We can bolt this to the table of the press, and you can press down on the high spot, if you can get the high spot up at the top, and try to bend the crank a little bit. Now, it's a little iffy, alright, but they do it. Now, in this case, I'll probably use this motor for parts, but the crank will probably stay in it for a long time, because I doubt I'll pull the block apart anytime soon. So I'm going to start gutting it today, but if I get a chance to, maybe this winter or whenever I have time, if I get a chance to make the fixture, this will be one of the first ones that I try, because the bolt pattern's almost always the same. It happens basically on the same motors, and you're only going to want to fix certain motors anyway. A Honda might be nice to try to fix that way, because it's a nice motor and it's worth a little bit more. You're not going to fix a piece of crap, but you could. But the bolt patterns are basically the same, so we might try that, and we'll see. If you look at the other video, the amount that the crank is out is thousandths. You know, couple, right? Not 80 in one direction and 20 in the other, which is a combined, you know, it's freaking out, right? It's really bent. So that's where we're at, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and it's a simple test. It's a simple setup. And I'm going to just, you know, continue to pull a few parts off of this. I'm going to get this on the cleaning line soon, and this is how I check them. So, you know, one of the nice things is you want to do this. It's easy to do it on the bench, obviously. It's only usually 3 bolts to take it out and a cable or whatever. So it's not hard to take these motors off. Sometimes pulleys don't come off of engines. You really need to get the pulleys off if you really want to, you know, check the crank. This crank was pretty clean. All I had to do was wipe it. It has one little rust blemish over here, but that's not in the place where we're measuring it. You can also measure it on the very edge, but it'd be a little bit more difficult. And there's a little key slot here, so I can't measure it on the, you know, any closer. But you could get up to that key slot, and so I think this is a good way to check it. You know, this way, you know, if you pull a motor off of a machine and you want to use it on another machine, the first thing you want to check to see is if it's bent. The second thing you want to check to see, especially on Briggs motors, is if the bearing on the top side underneath the flywheel is good. Because if it wobbles, it'll leak, and it's no good. It's garbage, and there's probably metal in the motor. Then you can check compression, and you can then check for things that are spark and stuff to see if, you know, that's the accessories. It's ancillary. So you don't care if the carburetor is gack. You might have 5 or 10 or who knows how many. But you know, you can't go any further with this motor, all right, until that gets fixed somehow. All right, so thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys soon. Archer's Garage, pro tip. Catch you guys later.